It's J Moore, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest, we gon'
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. I got my man, the business bully, Dave Anderson. He's been featured in Forbes and what was it, Fortune, Forbes, all of that good stuff. Definitely help to grow your business mentor, as well as a person that is aware and got his finger on the pulse of what's going on in society. So definitely like to welcome you to the stream, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man.
Man, thank you so much for having me. Good to be back. Happy to be here, man. How's everything?
Oh, man, it's all right, man. Can't complain. I'm busy and trying to make things happen, but as long as you're here and you got your health, really can't complain,
No, sir. Can't complain at all. It's the best thing you can have is your health. Everything else you can get.
That's right. That's right. It's the only thing you can't buy. Health and time, right?
That's all. Health and time. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. So, man, I appreciate you again for coming through. And, we got a lot of stuff to get into, different subjects to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And, I'm excited. I don't know where to get in and get started. So to get started, let's just give the people that may not be familiar with you a little bit about your background and your story and why are you the business bully?
Yeah, I started my career when I was like 9 years old. I was doing radio and then television and then did some film stuff. Little stand-up comedy. I did a little bit of everything, and then I retired from entertainment when I was 34. So I had a good 25-year run being active in that world, and I retired from it because I was making a lot of people a lot of money, and I wasn't making a lot of money. And I realized the main thing that I could do was to be able to make money for people and make money for myself using the gifts that God had given me, which is exactly what these jobs do. They take your gifts, your skills, and your talents, and they leverage them for money. So when people talk about, oh, I'm making $50 an hour, and I'm like, hey, dumbass, guess what? Whoever is paying you can afford to pay you $50 an hour because you're generating probably $500 to $5,000 an hour off of your talents, gifts, and skills. And so let's find ways to monetize those. And I'm a product of the 80s and 90s, man. I was born in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And we didn't have 17th place trophies. We didn't have people telling us that everything we did that was mediocre was phenomenal. We didn't have anybody just cheering us on, like a lot of these folks have today. And so sometimes
we had that adversity. That actually helps you.
Yeah, to the uninformed, accountability can come across as bullying. And so one day somebody called me the business bully, and I called my trademark attorney, and I haven't looked back.
Hey, I hear that. That's what's up, man. That's recognizing, what's going on and taking advantage of the moment. A lot of people sometimes they afraid to make a decision, or they think they're waiting, and they don't realize that was their decision in the moment. Their decision was to hesitate.
Yep.
And so we got to take advantage of things in life. And like you say, everybody maybe can't go into business or whatever, but it's something else you can do. But you got to realize that if you getting paid X amount, like you said, they're able to pay that because they're generating off of what you done. So whether you maybe invest, maybe you're not ready to start your own business, but learn a little bit of investing to put some of your money to work for you, like your employees. And some people don't have the right relationship with money. They go to work for money instead of having their money work for them. What do you think about having your money work for you versus people going to work for money, trading their time for money?
Yeah. Well, the average American is, maybe 1 to 2 paychecks away from abject poverty. So going to work for money is never going to be the thing that will allow you to thrive. It can sustain you, but according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, your average tenure at any full-time job is 18.5 months. You're not retiring after 40 years most often you know, with a gold watch. Those days are over. So you got to start thinking about what makes sense. And if you understand that this is a corporation and not a country, even if you're not a business savvy individual, you would understand the tax benefits from having a business and being a job creator, as opposed to talking about what you can't do. And yeah, listen, everybody can't be in shape because everybody won't go on the treadmill. Everybody will find a way to say, "Oh, well, diabetes runs in my family." No, diabetes is all through your family because nobody in your family runs. At some point, you got to start looking at the possibilities of what you can do in order to change your circumstances. And I think making your money go to work for you is one of the best things you can do. And people ask me all the time, every one of these shows has asked me, well, Dave, what can people do right now in order to what should they invest in? And my answer to the uninformed and the uneducated is going to sound ridiculous, but my answer is the best investment you can make is in yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I used to tell my son and others, man, if you don't believe in yourself, how you gonna have somebody else, believe in what you're trying to do or invest in what you're trying to do if you ain't believing in it or you ain't willing to invest your time and energy into it, So, yeah, that's definitely one of the best investments is yourself, whether it's investing in knowledge or whatever the case, your health, or all of the above, Speaking of health, you were a lot larger at one point, and you didn't lost like a person or two now. Yeah. What's up with that? What's your journey with weight? How did you gain weight, lose weight? Was it more of a mental thing over physical? Because some people think that weight is more physical than mental. I think it's more mental than physical in my experience. What are your thoughts on all of that?
I think that it's like anything else. Things are going to show up one way or another. And something has to give. If something's out of balance, it's going to show up one way or the other. And a lot of times, especially, just in Black culture, generally speaking, we tend to surround ourselves with really, really bad food. And everything we do is surrounding food, whether it is, somebody getting married, somebody having a party, somebody getting divorced, somebody dying. Everything is food. Even when we talk about allies, what do we say? We are inviting them to the cookout. Like our whole culture is about culinary thing. There's like 5 different shows on Netflix alone about soul food. What does that tell you? Our relationship with food is one that is completely toxic. As a result, we find ourselves in situations that we really shouldn't be in simply because those situations are normalized. And so for me, I was a person that was, and I'll tell you, being in entertainment a lot of times, it's a sedentary lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're sitting in the studio, even if you're on a set on a TV show, it's hurry up and wait. It's craft services. Even
That's
when
right.
if you're wrestling, there's catering in the back. There's always there's food everywhere. That's true. If you have not learned how to process your feelings, if you have not had any therapy, you will eat your feelings. Something happens. Like you always see it on television, regardless of race, creed, or culture. On television, if a woman breaks up with somebody, what's she doing? She's on the couch in some pajamas and some footies with a tub of Haagen-Dazs.
Right. All the time. Nice.
So I had to get real about, what I had put myself into. And I also had to figure out the best way to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did.
Yeah. Definitely, and I agree with what you say in that aspect as well. And also, I like, the psychological aspect of why people do the things that we do. And I look at it also as what we do with food is like, other than sex, how you going to celebrate or share a good time with a person. You kiss, a hug, or you celebrate a meal or something, And then I think what happened with us as a people is we didn't have much at the time, the slavery culture in America. And so our people, we had to finish our plates all the time. Don't waste food. And so then that gets in your head that every time you get a plate, you got to eat it all what's on the plate. And then that becomes a problem. Then the plates get bigger, and then you eat more, and then your stomach get bigger, then you want more, and then it's like, you know, it was a problem with me at one time to say, even if the stuff on the plate, I'm done. Yeah. You know, I would feel bad, like I didn't finish the plate though. I'm throwing food away. I'm wasting food.
Right.
You know, so, but you know, you don't have to eat it all.
No.
You know what I mean? Don't put so much.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I do now is I don't put so much. And then if I do, I'll go get some more if I want some more. But I don't put so much, then I don't have to eat it all or this or that. And, you know, but yeah, I think it's, you know, so, and as well as, you know, the psychological with the feelings, emotion, it's just so much. And then food is the one thing that we cannot get away from. You don't have to smoke or drink,
no,
you know, or even have sex, but you got to eat or you dead.
That's it. I tell people all the time, if you're addicted to the one thing you need in order to survive, how do you deal with that?
Man.
You know, and a lot of things have to be taught. We have to teach ourselves that if you're busy making things happen, you don't have time to eat your feelings. If you start to realize that there are people on the internet who are just talking about nonsense that doesn't matter and they don't know you, you don't have to feel bad about that. Like, also, you can have a coffee meeting. That's okay. You know, you can have a meeting without food. You know, you don't need to go out to dinner every time somebody's like, hey, you're in town, let's go to dinner. No, hey, you know.
Yes. Let's do something else. I just started to do that the last time that I was in Chicago. I had went with somebody out to dinner, and I made up my mind I'm not doing that no more because I felt like I wasted the food again psychologically because I couldn't eat it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for coffee next time. I'm going to order coffee, maybe a donut or something, and that'll be it, you know, because I'm not a big eater like that anymore and things. And so, and then I have to myself watch my weight because of my things with my interest. I don't really feel the pickup or the loss.
Right.
So I feel the same no matter what. So I don't really know till I be like, I roll by and be like, oh, damn, who is that?
He said, I roll by.
I had to do a roll by.
Just be like,
right.
Roll through the mirror like.
Right. Like, damn, that belly was big. Oh, no.
Bruh.
So, you know, I had to be on it, man. I had to try to make sure I don't, you know. And then also the feeling of getting full and stuff is different things, you know. Absolutely. So let me ask you, how is it that you finally, you know, decided, okay, I'm going to make this change? Because, you know, you was a grown man, older man, decide to do that. And they say it's more difficult to lose weight and go through things, or, you know, it's different things you got to worry about as you get older. What made you decide, okay, I'm going to do this as well? Because, you know, you succeeded in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Let's hear this as well.
To me, it's a multi-layered thing, so I'll be as quick as I possibly can.
I'll take your time.
The first thing, thank you. The first thing is when you're successful at a bunch of different things. Now, success means different things to different people. But to me, being able to dominate in different fields of human endeavor, to be able to survive. I remember my aunt asked me when I graduated from high school, what's the thing you're most proud of? I was like, surviving, because I went to the worst high school in America. Literally.
Yeah, you know, what school was that, and where are you from?
Philly, Martin Luther King High School.
Okay. Well, we already know Martin Luther King is a bad neighborhood and a bad street in every city. So
it's also a bad school.
Right. I'm in bad school. I said neighborhood. I'm in bad school. But right.
But no, any place that's got Martin Luther King Street, Martin Luther King Boulevard, it's going to be a problem, which is ironic. But anyway and anyhow.
Hey, we got to get into the irony of things like that too. But go ahead.
True. But the thing for me was I consider myself a person of above average intelligence, and I could do all of these things. I was skilled in a lot of things, but I remember just watching and again listening to the noise of society people would say things, and instead of you can't attack my level of genius, you can't attack my track record, and so what you'll begin to attack are the things you can. Oh, but you're fat, and I'm like, okay, that was one. Two, I'm a person who has a certain level of success. I have a family, and the last thing I wanted to do was leave my family, because we all know people who checked out way too early. My brother died, at the end of 2022, and he was, thank you, he was 51 years old, and I'm sorry, there's no universe where 25 and a half should be considered middle-aged,
Right.
and it wasn't like he something happened with his heart, but anyway you slice it, like we used to call my brother RoboCop because he was indestructible, like he was good. So the idea of seeing other people who were in phenomenal shape or in much better shape than I was, who weighed less than me, were younger than me, stronger than me, whatever the case may be, was scary. And so then I was dealing with sleep apnea. I had a CPAP machine, so I'm going to bed, feeling good, but I gotta put them. I'm coming to take over Gotham. I sound like Bane, you know what I'm saying? Just, Darth Vader. So, like, sleeping with
I was born in the darkness.
Right.
Simply moved into it, dog.
Yeah. So for me, you can't get sexy when you got a breathing machine in your bed. Yeah, like that don't even work. Like I know my wife would be like, "This is some bullshit." So there was that, and then finally, I needed to do something to deal with all of the demons that I had buried from just, my grandfather with the whole take all you want, eat all you take mentality, to my mother was an emotional eater, to I became an emotional eater. Food don't talk back to you. Food don't make fun of you. Food don't cheat on you. And I had to disassociate that stuff. And so I got with a therapist. I got with a nutritionist. I had weight loss surgery. I started doing Kempo and Krav Maga. I doing weight training and walking and exercising and doing everything I possibly could.
I always wanted to get into Krav Maga. That's what the Israeli
martial
jiu-jitsu.
arts. Yeah.
Okay. And also, you said something that I thought was interesting. That what food doesn't cheat on you.
No, food don't cheat on you. Food don't lie to you. Food don't betray you. Food don't pretend to be your friend and stab you in the back. Food don't leave you homeless. It don't do none of that. When it's there, it's ready. It's what does Little Caesar say? Hot and ready.
Hot and ready. Hot and ready for you whenever you feeling like it.
Pizza. Hey.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So the other part of that is I had to understand that the best relationship I had was the one I was neglecting the most. And it's the most important relationship I have, which is the relationship I have with myself. All of us are just a soul in a meat mech. We are in a spirit in a meat suit driving it around like Voltron. And so we're not getting new bodies. So we might want to take care of the one that we got. And for me, that was the game changer. Because if I cut your legs off, you still Jay.
Yeah.
So is the legs Jay or is JJ?
That already happened.
You
got him.
You popped me when you said that. I rolled by the mirror and just bro, I lost
that? Oh, who was that? Oh man, but hey, that's a good point. I think that society is trying to maybe pull a massive Jedi mind trick on the whole world, and it's on a deeper level. But when you said that we are meat suits, we are spirits in the suits driving them around pretty much. What do you think about how they try to make it seem like, we just part of evolution. You just a sophisticated monkey flying through space, and it is what it is. And and then you know there's nothing after, and you know, do as thou wilt, so to speak.
Well, I think everybody's entitled to believe whatever they want. There are people walking around here who believe all types of things. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with fact. And the fact of the matter is, and what I tell people all the time is, if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys?
Man, I've said that before. They got some explanation.
Because they know. Here's the thing, right?
I
There's
don't
no.
know what it is, but it's supposed to be some explanation. We were the different ones, I guess, that evolved, and those and the ones that still here didn't evolve. I guess I don't know.
It just makes no sense because here's if that by that logic, there should still be pterodactyls. There wouldn't be
Yeah,
any birds.
something
You
close
know,
to it.
that's it. You
Yeah,
know,
it's too many things that supposedly like a crocodile. If
right,
it's supposedly millions of years old from the dinosaur age, why didn't that evolve into something else?
right.
If
It
everything evolves, you
exactly.
know, and evolution isn't you went from dark to light, or your feathers changed color, or you went from fur to no fur, or you know, big to
Right,
small.
right.
You know, it's changing from something into another, which I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at it like this too. I tell people all the time there had to be a point in our evolution where the appendix served some type of purpose. It no
Okay.
longer serves that purpose, right? There is when you
Okay.
look at the fact that when you are in vitro, you're living in water. You're getting oxygen, through a
And
fallopian tube,
fluid. Yeah.
and the elements and everything through the amniotic fluid. So my whole thing is there is certain evidence of that. I mean, if we all came from the primordial ooze, at some point something had to happen. But my whole thing is we if we're not who we are, right? If my arm gets chopped off, I'm still Dave Anderson. I'm just Dave Anderson with a hook. You
All
know,
right.
I think we
Captain Hook.
gotta. Yeah, I think we gotta. Yeah, I'm scared to death of Captain Hook. But anyway, but the thing of it is, I think that we've got to start looking at what matters to us. And I think, regardless of this, the one thing all human beings have, whether they believe in God, don't believe in God, believe in evolution, don't believe in evolution, the one thing every human being that has ever lived and will ever live have in common is there's no way to get out of this life alive. You've got to die to live here, to leave here. So if you're going to die to leave here, you might want to live while you're here and focus on what living looks like here, because if there's nothing on the other side, then you can die peacefully. If there is something on the other side, you don't want to spend the afterlife living with regret. So any way
Good
you
point.
slice it, you might want to focus on how you are evolving through every period of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. That's a good point. That's pretty much what I came to a sudden awakening, you know, of you know, realizing I need to do some things differently and stop wasting some time. And I still do, everybody does, but I try not to as more often than I was before. I wasn't as conscious of some of the things before.
Yeah,
Um Now back to this little this human stuff again.
sure.
I don't know how much you are versed into the you know, human experience of how many human beings it was or whatever, but I was gonna ask you, what do you think about, they say what it was, eight now different type of human species, and they said they found some new type of human species recently that was practicing burial. What they had, this Homo erectus and who we Homo sapiens. They
Yeah,
say
yep,
found all these little ones. They try to say these dudes was first, and then we know about Neanderthals and stuff like that. They even say they may have even screwed each other or something. Who knows? Maybe they was just a island or a group of little people or something that, you know, and they came across a group of big people or something. I don't know. What you think about all this different stuff they find with these people? This picture here, they of course they making this up. They don't know what this. Of course they made him into a white dude.
of course.
Uh, what you think about what this whole? Because in my opinion, I think science is like a religion, also in a sense. Because if you believe in science 100%, I think that may be a mistake, and because there's always corrections and updates in science. One time science in the world said it was flat. They knew that it was flat, and then science had to be updated. So I don't know, but what you think about that? While we was kind of just talking about that.
I think there's people in the world who are much smarter than me when it comes to these things, and I leave that to them. I will say that facts are only as true as the information you have presented to you at that particular time. There was a point where, and I tell people all the time, when you look at George Washington, doctors who went to medical school said that George Washington's problem was that he had too much blood in his body, and so they put leeches on him. They did an ancient practice called bloodletting. That if you were to go into Johns Hopkins or any type of medical facility and say, hey, this person has too much blood in their body, first of all, they'll put you for a straitjacket and put you on a 5150 immediately. and secondly, no
Give me
one
some
would
of that blood. Just let it a little out. They'll feel better. They'll be a little lightheaded, but just a little out.
They got they're too blood nutrient, right? They got too much
bloody.
blood.
They bloody. Okay, they bloody.
Right. Like, it's absolutely insane. And
right.
I think we have to spend a lot more time focusing on what we know for sure for now, and leave tomorrow's problems to tomorrow. I think that everybody's got their theories, everybody's got their stuff. I think there is a little bit of truth in everything, but for the most part, I have yet to just sit around, in my office and go, oh, I wonder how many different species of Homo sapiens are there? Right. How much do we evolve? Like,
it makes me wonder. So I guess I've had points where I've had too much time. So
no, it's not even that.
Like,
I'm with it. Like, I think it's cool, but I got employees to feed.
I know that's right. I think it might go with a little something with the Bible when it say that when Adam and Eve and then they left, whatever, they bump into other people.
Right.
But these people was in God's image, according, and then they bump into people. I always used to wonder how they bump into other people if these supposed to be the first two. How they and their kids left and start going and seeing other tribes. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I look at it like this, and when it comes to that, theologically speaking, what I will say, and again, I mean, even as a theologian, I still have certain levels of questions, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I will say this. I look at it like a show. Right? I look at the first few chapters of Genesis as a show. So you're watching one particular show. Like when we were kids, it was weird. Like every comic book movie you saw before 2008, like if you saw the Fantastic Four, people were like, oh my God, there's somebody who can fly. And you'd be like, yo, you in New York. You mean to tell me you ain't seen Spider-Man running around here? Ghost Rider ain't never hit on nothing? You ain't never seen Captain America on the back of his motorcycle? Like all of this is just so foreign to you? With the Fantastic Four, at some point you got to think, okay, this is the one particular story they chose to tell in Genesis. And when they were cast out, they might have run into a whole bunch of other people whose stories never got told for whatever reason. Adam and Eve was just the ones that they told. So it's not too weird of a concept. There's 1,000,001 stories of people you've never heard of. My great grandfather used to tell my mom all the time, what you don't know can make a new world. So I imagine that there is a possibility that there were other stories that just didn't make the Bible. Adam and Eve could have easily have been first, and then God decided, hey, you know what? We're going to put some people over here. We're going to put some people over here. Just because. Like, I already know what they're going to do. All right, boom. And then there it is. There's also talk, depending on what you subscribe to or what you choose to believe from a historical and biblical context, that Eve wasn't even the first woman. That there was a woman named Lilith. So, bro, again, I think
that's
sometimes
we try to promote, that was there first. So
right,
yeah, it can be interesting. to say the least. Segueing on to something else, more just as interesting. What's up with Cat Williams? Now, by now, I'm sure a lot of people have heard and seen a lot about Cat and what he said. So I'll talk about a new aspect, which is that one of Cat Williams' favorite comedians, probably his favorite, is Dave Chappelle. He just recently spoke out and said that he didn't like how Cat Williams pretty much went after all of the black comics. I'm trying to pull this up over here. Of course, it ain't working. And he said, yeah, and so pretty much, what's your thoughts on that? Since you saw it, and he said that he pretty much came to the defense of Steve Harvey and said, Steve, why you messing with him? He just do game shows. Cedric, he kind of fat and old or something. I guess he tried to make a joke, but he did make one thing that I thought was a good point, and it's that he said that the white comics, or pretty much other white businessmen, don't come and tear each other down in public the way we seem to do. And he said, what's your thoughts on that and how we kind of don't support each other? And I'm not saying Cat wasn't wrong in what happened to him, but I don't know. What do you think about what Dave Chappelle said?
Okay, so you can be right and wrong at the same time. Meaning that... So, according to Dave Chappelle, Steve's just a game show host. According to Dave Chappelle, Cedric the Entertainer, is just the chubby funny guy, right? I didn't hear Dave Chappelle at any given time say that Steve Harvey or Cedric the Entertainer stole jokes from him that kept him from eating. So just because your relationship with somebody is one way does not mean that somebody else's experience with that person is invalid. That's one. Number two, black people who do not know what they are talking about say things like, "Oh, well, he didn't talk about white people, and white people don't tear each other down in public." They don't? Really? Pick any comedian who is white and ask them how they feel about Dane Cook. Pick any white comedian and ask them how they feel about Ricky Gervais. Pick any white comedian and ask them how they feel about Louis C.K. Pick any white comedian and see how they feel about Roseanne Barr, and then get back to me on that. Just because you're not aware of it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Like, a lot of times people are uneducated because they only see as far as the Garden of Eden. They don't see all the other places where these things are happening. And then the other part of that is, and this is me putting on my tinfoil turban, maybe, just maybe, you've lived long enough to become the villain. Because there was a point in time where Chappelle was the outsider. Chappelle was the crazy one. Chappelle was the one talking nonsense. Chappelle was the one they were saying was on drugs. Now, he's coming there. And I'm with D. Ray Davis. I do think it was good for the world of comedy. I also think there's a lot of people in comedy who have rode roughshod on people who did not have the experience, the fame, or the finances to fight their tyranny. And just because somebody's funny on stage doesn't mean that they're good people. Just because somebody acts on a television show or on a radio show like they're, saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost does not necessarily mean that they are. And so I think what Dave Chappelle...
Well, that's YouTube too, because I've come across some people here that, oh my goodness.
But just because, Dave Chappelle said something doesn't mean that it has anything to do with what Cat's experience is. And if Cat's experience and grievances were never addressed, of course, when he gets his opportunity to air his grievances, he's going to unleash. When you have pressure, it's going to build, it's going to make diamonds, or it's going to bust pipes. Either way, there's going to be a bit of a reckoning.
Hey, that's facts right there. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I do think that it is good overall for the world of comedy. That was like one big promotion explosion, woke a lot of people up. Definitely humongous for Club Shay Shay, put him on the map. Couldn't have paid for promotion as well as that. I hope he bought Cat a Rolex or a car, even a
Something.
Mercedes. Yeah, he could have got him a Benz with that check with what 50 million views. He made at least $1 million off of that video alone.
Yep.
So
that's not even counting the clips.
Not even counting the clips. He actually made more than $1 million because that was a 3-hour video, and damn near everybody watched the whole 3 hours. And he got a lot of ads in there too.
Oh yes, we gonna monetize the hell out of that. But again,
for real.
You know.
So hey, I hear that, but ain't nothing wrong with business. Let me ask you another thing about what's happened in life and in business. Supermodel Beverly Johnson, beautiful, one of the, I think the first Black woman on the cover of Vogue. I think she in her 70s now, still look amazing. She just recently shared that she didn't know until recently that when she was at a hotel, I believe in the 70s or early 80s, after she went swimming, they drained the pool because of her color. It's like, oh, you didn't turn the water chocolate or something. We got to get this out of here. Don't nobody want to get in the water after you. And this is when she was in her prime at that. She a supermodel. And this is what they did. What do you think about some of the things that's gone on? And then also with racism, and then some people make the argument, get rid of affirmative action today. It's no need. Some people say it's still a need. Some people say it's no such thing as systemic racism. What's your thoughts on this, and then as well as the bigger picture on that?
Okay, so when it comes to Beverly Johnson in the 70s and 80s and them draining the pool, that doesn't surprise me. That is par for the course with people who are stupid and racist. Just because times change doesn't mean that those people aren't stuck in their ways. You know, the other part of that is it doesn't matter how beautiful you are. There were plenty of beautiful women who were on the plantation that every night master would get loose in the slave quarters and rape those same women who were beautiful or not. They were still the slaves. So that's the type of thing that doesn't surprise me. My mother, who is, you know, around Beverly Johnson's age, I remember she used to have to deal with the self-inflicted internal colorism that Black women with
type stuff.
Yeah, my mother is not an AKA because she could not pass the brown paper bag test.
Oh wow.
You know, my mother can remember getting out of the swimming pool and people checking to see if a track was going to fall out.
Wow.
So yeah, these things happen and they continue to happen. Everybody is so shocked when racists do what racists do. That's like going to the hood and being shocked that you get robbed, but you're walking around with a Rolex and a big gold chain at 3 o'clock in the afternoon by yourself. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, now affirmative action. I think affirmative action is lip service. It has not done anything to benefit Black people. It will never do anything to benefit Black people. And in the case that you can find something along the lines of exceptionalism to say that it has benefited Black people, I can show you data and facts that prove that the number one recipient of affirmative action have been white women. So again, I don't need affirmative action. I need massive action. And I don't need a seat at your table. I need to be left alone so that I can pursue the same life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that every American who was born here is entitled to.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. That's a perfect segue. So you saying that you don't want a seat at the table. You want that same opportunity, you know, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. It's put in the Constitution. But without some type of corrective action, whether it's affirmative or massive or something, because we all know the elephant in the room, that what happened to African Americans in this country for so many years. And then even with the Jim Crow era, it's like they say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But if you didn't have boots, or if you were their boots for so many years, so yeah, maybe you're not the boots today, but the education system is so bad in urban cities, unless you can get into a charter school or a suburban school, It's hard to get the funding because they made funding for schools with property. So my point is this, I'll let you, elaborate. How is it that, some people can get to this next level without it being a level playing field? Because as we know, it's not a level playing field. Your parents may have been renters, and this other group of people, parents were homeowners. So when they died, they left a home that they could sell and investments. And when your people die, they left a bill. They left a will. We know that old joke. And you never have wealth. They didn't go and get life insurance policies. They could barely keep the lights on now. So whereas the other family, because they had their grandfather left a house, their father left out, they got life insurance policy, they got stock investments, they had those conversations. Whereas these people talking about how we gonna get an extra $100 and come up. I came up on $500, bro. What's up with that? That's the problem. That's where you can't get the corrective action. It's where it's needed, in my opinion.
Respectfully, I vehemently disagree for a few reasons. The first is the Bible says, "Be ye not conformed by this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Right? Okay. Number two. They trying
to take the Bible out of the schools, though.
Well, no. Give me a little attitude here.
We older.
Yeah, I understand.
I feel what you said. I understand, but go ahead.
No. Give me a little attitude on this, right? Okay. Your mindset changes everything. Now, does racism exist? Yes. But I wasn't affirmative action has never helped me. Not once, not at all. The only time, right? Maybe once, but this isn't affirmative action. These are quotas, and that's a different type of thing, right?
Who made them have a quota?
Hold on, whoa. You gotta let me get it out.
Go ahead.
You'll see where I'm going when I'm done, right? I was brilliant. I was reading Tolstoy at the age of 4, but I got a 750 on my SATs, right? So because at the age of 4, I was reading Tolstoy. I got a 750 on my SATs when I was a junior in high school. So I had the grades, but I didn't have the SAT scores. And then studies had come out that the scores were racially biased, and I went to the worst high school in America. So they had programs to try and make sure that you met the skills that were necessary in order to enter college, which I had no problem with. I just had a problem with the stupid ass test, right? So that in and of itself is one thing, but still it's about doing the work. Now, here's my point now. I have 2 children. One is 24, the other one is 8. This thing right here has every piece of information that has ever existed or will ever exist in the palm of your hands and at your fingertips. There's a 9-year-old kid who is making $30 million a year reviewing toys that he don't manufacture on YouTube. Yeah. There is a girl who is the most asexual little girl on the face of the planet who had a bunch of millions of little girls off of YouTube wearing bow ties, and she's selling out arenas absolutely everywhere named JoJo Siwa. There is an opportunity. There's a dude right now, the dude who goes, "Please come home. I got beans and bologna." There's a bum right now doing sleight of hand magic tricks. He's going viral every single day. If you are trying to, quote unquote, come up and hit a lick where you can't figure out where your next $500 is coming from, then you have missed out. Also, education traditionally is not what it was, 30, 40 years ago. Meaning it wasn't, it was necessary then. It's not necessary now.
Easier to educate yourself now.
Not only that, these people are getting, especially black people, are getting into debilitating student loan debt, which automatically drives down your debt to income ratio. And then you can't, that's what's keeping you from getting a house, not affirmative action. The fact that you got $50, $60, $120,000 in student loan debts. If you make $100,000 on paper, you only make 20 because 100 of that is already there. Plus you got to factor in the fact that you got to eat, you got to fart, you got to shit, you got to fuck, you got to clothe yourself. Like, at some point you got to start looking at the bullshit for what it is. And then, universal life insurance, term life insurance policies, you can get a policy for $10 a month. There is no excuse. Because the same people talking about, we didn't have life insurance are the same idiots who got time to all of a sudden get on the internet, which they were so afraid of, and put up a GoFundMe page for a fucking fish fry.
I know.
I don't want to hear that no more. Also, if you take away the Industrial Revolution, if you take away the atrocities of slavery and the products that they produce, one of the main ways the dominant society passed down generational wealth was through whole life insurance policies, right?
That's right.
Also, every time I turn around, anytime one of us, and I'm talking about black people, gets a level of financial success, then all of a sudden, look at that nepotism. Look at that trust fund baby. He's in the Illuminati. I'm here to tell you, it's not the Illuminati, it's being illuminated. Meaning, the light bulb goes off in your head, you numbnuts, and you realize that there are certain things out here that you were taught that are traditional that are wrong. And it is wrong to leave your kids in a lurch. It is wrong to say, oh, well, you shouldn't live in your mama's house. Why the hell not? It's your mama's house. Here's one for you. Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Tiffany Trump, Trump Tower. They all have residences at Trump Tower.
Hey, for real.
They all got spots at Mar-a-Lago.
Or wherever. They're going to stay at one of Daddy's spots.
You damn right. And they should. But you know what? Everybody can say whatever they want to. And I'm going to give other examples. But guess what? A lot of people can't name all the Trump kids. But you know what a Trump is. And you know what a Trump was before he was ever running for any type of office. Because you have got to start doing what they do. They play for their last names. The Rockefellers played for their last names. The Kennedys played for their last names. The Jacksons played for their last names. Y'all out here going by your middle name because you don't think Jenkins is sexy enough.
Plus, ain't nobody getting married to give that last name too.
No, because you strong and independent. You don't need no man. And of course, you know you're not a simp, so you're not going to wear the brass ring. Because if you wear the brass ring, then that means that you got a kowtow and step and fetch for your wife, and you'll never have your balls. Do you see the propaganda that you don't control that continues to get fed to you? Because it's so hard out here. Yes, it's hard out here. You know what else is hard? Being broke.
Yes.
That's what's hard. You know what else is hard? Looking your kid in the face and they see that there's other kids that have all these things that you can't provide. Right? Yeah. You know what my kid wants more than anything? My kid wants my time.
Hey.
And I'm going to do everything I can to give it to her. She got security.
Know everything going to be all right. Well, a lot of these people, so I got a lot of people work for me come through. And they'll say, well, I got to be there for my kids. And they can sit there and give them time, but your time is in different motels because you homeless. You ain't got your bills paid, or y'all sitting in the car together after work. Or this, you sitting there with them, but you're not giving them your time properly. You're not providing for them. I'd rather you be working 18 hours and they got a roof over their head and food in their belly and they ain't in the car or in some motel where a bunch of seedy people coming and they fighting and dealing with all of this and might get knocked up, or they doing TikTok videos while you at work or sleep. Like you're not allocating your time properly, time management. And so this is a good segue as well. Let's talk about why a lot of people, first of all, the propaganda of, well, I'm a strong independent, and it's only against our people. You don't hear the Hispanics saying they woman, I'm strong independent. I don't need no man. I do it. You know what I mean? You don't hear the Asians or the whites or anybody else. Our people, I'm strong independent, or don't trust that thought, this, that, and the other. But you don't realize you still having kids. The number one form of creating wealth is to be married and then home ownership. Mm-hmm. That's the first form and easiest form in America. People still renting. They won't get married. What you think is going on with this? What's your thoughts on people not getting married? And as far as business and creating wealth, what's your thoughts on that? Give us some ideas on simple ideas.
I think the family unit is one of the greatest weapons you have against poverty, against mental health erosion, against crime, against the thought culture that permeates our landscape, the slickster, pimp, hit a lick, hustler, run the play culture we have in our landscape right now. I'm not a big fan of home ownership as a means of wealth generation, because it's not about the home, it's about the land.
Well, right.
And that's what people don't understand. And then the other part of that is the same way that De Beers got women, regardless of race, to believe that a man, in order to propose marriage to her, needed to take 3 months of his salary and buy a worthless diamond, because all diamonds are worthless.
Right.
And do that because here's the thing. Before 1920, most engagement rings were sapphires, emeralds, pearls. Diamond is the least mentioned jewel in the Bible because they're everywhere. You can step on a diamond.
They actually have diamonds stockpiled by De Beers, and they actually hold them off the market just to artificially keep the value high, because if, like you said, they were all released in the market, it would be no value.
Right. The other part of that is they will sell you anything because you're ignorant and uneducated. For example, have you ever heard of chocolate diamonds?
I've seen in K Jewelers. Yeah, they got those now.
Do you know chocolate? Do you know what they are though?
No, I saw what it looked like though. But what is it?
They are diamonds that are attached to the drill bits. The end of the drill bit, when they go mining for diamonds.
Right.
The heat from the fast pace of the drill bit mixed in with the diamonds that get stuck on the end of the drill, the dirt gets trapped, and that's why you have chocolate diamonds. So now you're literally selling people shiny, dirty diamonds, and you think that's something, right? We begin to believe this myth of home ownership because it benefits the banks, it benefits municipalities, it benefits the tax code, it benefits all of the corporations. And look at how many industries thrive off of home ownership, right?
Oh yeah, because you're going to fill that home up full of stuff.
You're going to fill the home full of stuff. There's going to be a place for the mailman to come and drop off packages. There's all of these things that can happen as a result of you buying a home. But if something
inflation, and it goes up with appreciation.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that there's not value in it.
Right,
what I'm saying is it's an industry like every other industry. And there are other ways to get generational wealth. You could literally you can have a trust, you can have universal life insurance, right? You can build a business, you can license, you can build up your intellectual property and then license it for after you die. There's 1,000,001 ways to do that, because what if all of a sudden you buy a home for $175,000, just keep it cheap, and the property value in that neighborhood goes down? Now you over under in that house.
Right.
But we don't talk about that because you've been told to market this dream of home ownership. Right? Just like in the 70s, the CIA went and told our women, oh, you're a woman before you're black. Come be a feminist.
And they turned against our men when we were the tightest family unit in the 60s and 70s.
Black people were married to each other at 74%. We were the most married group of people on the face of the planet, and they broke that up quick, fast, and in a hurry. So the more you begin to hear a lie, the more you will begin to believe it. Also, let me ask you something. If you rent your home and the roof leaks, who's responsible for that?
The owner of the home. Yeah.
Okay.
The renter.
Right. Exactly. The end. You ain't got to worry about shoveling.
But when you leave, you have nothing to show. Say you stay there for 10 years or 5 years, you leave, you have nothing to show for it. You don't get the appreciation or the equity from paying. And that's just for you living there. You got to live somewhere. We all got to live somewhere. So if you can be paying, and then when you decide, because most people don't find one place and stay there the rest of their life, we at least move once. So if you can move and get something for it, versus move for nothing. I'm just saying that's the easiest
It's
and
backwards.
simplest way. I'm not
backwards.
saying
It
it's
is
the best way.
backwards. The last thing you need to do is buy a home, especially if you're in that type of position. Look, no.
Depends on where you are in your situation.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
If you are struggling financially, if you don't have, the type of money to deal with everything that comes with that, then the best thing you can do is rent, because at the end of the day, you're in a building stage, right?
Right.
The last thing I want, because again, if you're a young person, let's say you get out of you get out of college at 21, 22 years old. Your next move isn't buy a house. Your next move is to find an apartment, rent that apartment, and then deal with making enough money, building yourself up. If you're going to climb the corporate ladder, you're going to build your business to do that. The other part of that is when you own a home, you have to pay property taxes. You have to do all of these things to maintain that home. It's a scam. It works. It works if you have the money to deal with that, and you can build that equity up over time. I will give you a real world example, right? My mother in 1994 bought a home. Home still in my family, right? That home that she bought, I don't know, for 89 grand, maybe 100 grand, is now worth double that, right?
Oh, yeah. Easy. Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, she was my age when she bought that home. She's now 77. Right?
But that's the problem with our people. We wait too late to where we can be able. Not that she waited on purpose. We don't get a chance until we're too late, unfortunately. Whereas
you don't give yourself a chance because you're focusing on one thing because that's what you've been fed. Like
exactly, where I've seen other people, other groups, have something in their mid-20s or late 30s. I mean, early 30s, and be on their second or third. Not always with us, unfortunately. But
yeah, but you can't. Yeah, you can't really. The thing of it is, those are exceptions, and that's not the rule. Because the majority,
especially now, because it's getting more difficult, and the amount that you down, and you still got to live, and it's harder to save. So that's why I was gonna say it is difficult. So what would you? I wouldn't say a scam, but it is difficult, and not that, especially by yourself. So what would you say would be your suggestion for a person that's on a budget, but they want to try to plan for their future? Would you suggest to them start a business, save some money, invest in a 401k, put it under your mattress? What would be something the business bully would recommend the person to do? Say they beginning. They ain't 30 yet, but they out of school.
Okay. So Jay, this is a bottle of water, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna save this bottle of water. There, I've saved it. Is it making me more bottles of water?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Now, if I were to take this bottle of water, right, and I were to take half of it and use it to water some seedlings, and then those seedlings then produce fruit or vegetables, then I'm doing something. Then I take the top off of the water and I make a little bit of a greenhouse environment to grow other seedlings. Then I'm doing something. The problem is we keep talking about saving as if it's a real thing. It is yet another scam. Saving doesn't work just because you move something around, because the bank doesn't save your money. The bank takes your money and invests it. So the second you put your money in, if I were to go to the bank right now and put in 15 grand, right, and I come back the next day and say, hey, I want to take 15 grand out, they'd be like, well, we only have 10 right now. Can you come back, or we can write you a cashier's check? Because they've taken that money and they've invested it in the stock market. They've bought insurance policies. They've done millions and millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, off of the money that you're saving, when they're only giving you less than 2% returns, if at all, on that money. So what I would tell people is, number one, before you even think about buying a house, you want to tell your child to do something right away, tell them to take half of their paycheck and put it in a Roth IRA, especially if they're sitting at home. The earlier you start, the more money you will have when that thing comes comes to maturity. The other part of that is get as much life insurance as humanly possible. The other part of that is you need to start getting a trust and putting everything in there. You do not need to own everything. See, because if you own stuff as Jay Moore, then I as the government can come in and tax Jay Moore, right? Bro, me, the human being, I make less than $15,000 a year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can also put your house in the trust too, right?
Yes, everything can go in the trust. Everything, your intellectual property, all that stuff can go in the trust, and then you can decide who runs the trust. The object of the game is not to own everything. Ownership comes with responsibilities.
That's right. That's right.
Management is just management. If you're the person that manages the trust, then you're just managing the trust. If that trust has a couple of vehicles in it, and you have to be the one to maintain those vehicles, and you're the authorized driver on those vehicles, then that becomes a different conversation versus you being a person who owns all of that, who you have to tax on that, then you're in a higher tax bracket. You know,
man, what you said is so perfect because it's all about mindset. And so one thing I learned earlier in my life, and there's different books and stuff, but you want to copy the habits of successful people and people that do it. And Elon Musk, for example, he don't have any money. He don't pay himself, but he's the richest man, because everything's in his company name. So if he needs some place to live or a car or it's all company expense. And when you see how these type of people operate, then you can make your mind change and change into different aspects, and then you'll be able to grow and do different things that may have been more difficult for you. Maybe you get a line of credit in that business or that trust, and you do business this way, and like you said, hey, you just work here, you're just managing it. And once you start to really get into that stuff, you'll see it is big differences that can be made in what you want to do, man. Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah. So tell a little people, the people that a bit about what you do for people. Say I'm a business owner or I'm trying to get into business, and I come across you. How are we going to be able to work together? How would you be able to help me? Does it matter what kind of business I have or I'm in, or what are some of the things that I would, be able to gain from working with you as well?
Sure. Yeah, I've been very lucky in that I've learned some very, very hard lessons in order to take things to a different level. And one of the main things that I've learned is that business is business is business, and regardless of what you do or what you have, everybody in business is in the same business. We're all in the business of solving a problem. McDonald's solves the problem of I'm hungry right now. Walmart solves the problem of I've got to clothe 50 kids and I don't have a lot of money. We're all in the business of solving the problem. So the first thing that I tell anybody as a business coach is, what is the problem that you solve? I love working with people who believe in themselves. I can teach you 1,000,001 things. I can't teach you how to have higher self-esteem, right? And people who believe in themselves and are obsessed with outcomes, obsessed with making it happen, even if they don't know the way. We're there to teach you. One of the things that I tell people, because people ask me, well, why do you have a full-time therapist on staff? And the reason I have a full-time therapist on staff is if you go from making 30 grand a year to making 30 grand a month, that's a bit of a mind fuck. And then you start to be like, oh my God, what if they come after me? What if the IRS comes after me? What if I can't do it? Oh my God, I feel like a fraud. You need somebody to be able to address that. The other part
That's
of that
something
is
a lot of people don't think about or are prepared for.
No, we're always prepared for failure. We're not prepared for success, right? The other thing is I'm really good at knowing what I'm good at and what I'm not good at and what I'm great at. And so I have people who specialize in the things that I'm just okay in, right? My job is to take what you have and expand it, right? I'm going to help incubate what you're doing. And a lot of times people are great at whatever they do. If you're crocheting, if you bake cookies, if you are an author, speaker, coach, YouTuber, you're great at that. But you probably suck at marketing, and you damn sure suck at systems. And if you suck at marketing, you suck at systems, you cannot be successful. You could do okay. You can do good. Shit, you can even do great. But there's a ceiling that you're going to hit. And when you hit that ceiling, you're going to get frustrated because you're going to see other people go past that ceiling and they're going to be floating above you like a satellite in the night sky. And you're going to be like, what?
Recognize what they need and delegate those things. It's very few people that are the creative genius and a business genius. You know, even Steve Jobs had a business problem. They had to kick him out of Apple at one point, you know, and bring him back. You know, it's Bill Gates. You know, is one of the few, I guess, that was the creative genius, but wasn't wise part of the creative process as well. So, you know, and those people are iconic for a reason, you know, because they're very rare to be that business savvy and the talent. You know, they say even though like Tesla, Elon Musk didn't start Tesla, he bought it. It was already established. Now he's taken it to different heights and levels, but as well as his other companies and things, but he is probably a great example of what you said and getting the right people in the right places and delegating this and that and getting this vision, because I'm pretty sure he's very smart, but he's no rocket scientist, but he got SpaceX, but he knows to get the right people in the right places and let them do whatever, and, you know, delegation. So that's one of the things that I'm actually going to be trying to put together this year, is getting the right people in place, because I know where I can, you know, only go but so far. I can be the on-air talent, speak, do this and that, but I'm not good at scheduling or keep to messaging people back and forth. And sometimes to get certain people and guests, you got to message people back and forth. They cancel, they do this, they do that, you know, and you know, that's not for me, and different things. So I recognize that I need somebody to do that, you know, or setting up gigs for stand up, all of that, you know, drive by jokes, whatever the case. So there you go. Where that mirror at?
No, I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to not be great at everything. Nobody's great at everything. LeBron ain't great at everything. If he was, he would have killed with the Cavaliers and never left. He had to take his talents to South Beach and have a conference with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Because he couldn't make it happen.
And still can't shoot threes.
No, not at all. I would shoot LeBron's lights out when it comes to threes. That's where my dominance over LeBron James ends, right there. But in all seriousness, I think people need to understand that that's another lie and a myth and a scam that gets sold. Oh, you got to do everything yourself. That was a cute skit for In Living Color, but no, I'm going to fly the plane, I'm going to be air traffic controller, I'm going to take your tickets. No.
Hey, man, time to go to work.
No, you lazy gods. No,
Right. And a lot of people don't realize some of these channels that they watch and follow that are successful, they have a team working for them. It ain't just one person like me or some other channel. They have employees, they have editors and stuff. I'm not knocking them, but they have the support, because a lot of other cultures will support each other and send in that $1 a month or whatever. Whereas we're like, why would I send you $1 when I can watch it for free? You know, and then they wonder why these channels don't grow or die or people stop. I mean, you know, you want these people to do things, but a lot of our people want it for free, discount, don't support. Not all, but we don't have as well the disposable income as other people as well, for whatever reason, you know. But anyway, I definitely will be trying to grow mine as well, and I'm be hitting you up too, and we're gonna have to make some things work.
Hey,
I know I put together conferences and things in the past. You still putting together like business conferences and things like that?
Yes, sir, man. We're making it happen. You know, we took some time off with everything that was happening with COVID. Then right after COVID, my brother got sick, and then right after he got sick, he passed. And so I hadn't done BullyCon for a couple of years, but I had other things to do. But that's the other thing. It was hectic because here I was really hurt, but my businesses didn't lose much with me not being there. And that's the other part. Like, are you so addicted to your labor that if you had to step away from your business, would your business continue to make you money? If the answer is no, then you are weak and you need systems, and that's okay. I had to learn this the hard way. Now I teach this the easy way, and I think that a lot of times we don't take into consideration how important it is for us to recognize what we know and what we don't know. And if we know what we know, then we need to find people who know what we don't, and we need to get them close as humanly possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, you were speaking a little bit earlier. You say you got 2 kids. You're married as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Congrats on
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
What do you think about the state of dating today, where they have people complaining about Cheesecake Factory and all this stuff? This woman is on TikTok now saying my date expected me to pay because of how I dressed, and when I told him the truth, he got angry. So I read this, and it wasn't just how she dressed. She was commenting also about that she invests in the stock market and that she's made some money, and then that she had some rings and jewelry. And so he was, when it came time for the check, he like, okay, you pay for it. And she was like, what you mean? We supposed to be here. You asked me out, whatever the case. So in the end, she split the check and paid her portion, and he paid his, but he was upset and said, because she said, first of all, I don't have that much money. My rings are not real. And he said, oh, well, then you fake. And you probably ain't making no money either. That's not real either. So I don't know. If it would have been a dude and he said he had the jewelry and stuff and the money and stocks, and then she said pay, and he like, oh, no, you pay. And she said, oh, you wearing this? These rings ain't real. This watch ain't real. I don't know. What's your thoughts in dating in the world today overall, and then this silliness with the, pay, don't pay. First of all, I don't need no man pay. I got this. Okay. I don't need no man open the door. Oh, he ain't no good gentleman. He gonna take me to Cheesecake back. He ain't gonna open the door. Which one is it?
Okay. So, again, I say the black male-female gender war is fake. It is yet another tool in order to divide us, and it's working. Just like reality television is another tool used to divide us, and it's working. The thing of it is, I need people to understand something. What works for you should work for you. If it doesn't work for you, then why are you fighting for it? And the other part of that is there's a lot of people out here who don't want to be husbands or don't want to be wives. What they want is they're looking for they're looking for their mother, or they're looking for their father. And that to me is absolutely ridiculous. I was asked on another show that a lot of these Gen Zs think that if they make anything less than $550,000, that they're somehow a failure, because society has told you, especially society,
you a scrub. I need a baller. I don't want no, even though that's going way back.
But the thing of it is, but that's the oldest trick in the book. Even if you take no scrubs off the table, right? And that's 1999 when my oldest daughter was born. If you take no scrubs off the table, and I'm going to come back to no scrubs, but when you take no scrubs off the table, there was a song that said, ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Right. Got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. Right. What's going on? The rent, mother. Ain't that going on but the rent, goddammit.
Right. Like,
got the rent.
Let's go forward a couple of years. What have you done for me lately? Ooh. So there has been a foundation of female financial entitlement that goes back as far as recorded history can go. A kiss on the hand is so continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
James Bond.
That's Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Girls, their friend is Marilyn Monroe. But the point is still the point. So that's point number one. Now let's go back to no scrubs for a minute. You're telling me that I'm in the passenger side of my best friend's ride trying to holler at you, and I'm a scrub, but you're singing a song about how you don't want no scrubs, and you're broke. You were bankrupt while you were singing that song. You
In
got
real
taken.
life,
You got taken by a thought who had half a hit, who happened to be married to a record producer who was just a little bit smarter
about
than
Pebbles.
you.
Talk about Pebbles. Hey, you know what though? I didn't even think about that. They were singing "I Don't Want No Scrubs," but in real life, they were broke and getting some. Dang, that's messed up.
Not only that, look at the culture now. You have these folks talking about, oh, my child is my broke little best friend, right? And the truth of the matter is, to a man that has means, and you're coming with a sense of entitlement, you're their little broke best friend. You the scrub. You the like. So basically, you're trying to sign up not for America's Next Top Model. You're trying to sign up for America's Next Top Female Dependent, right? The other part of that is, you can't, in good conscience, rest your manhood on how many holes you stick your phallus in.
And you know what? I hate to say this, but that's how I was brought up. That's the culture I brought up.
We all were.
78.
We all were.
I was told, you soft, you ain't a man, or you ain't got no hoes, or you ain't got no, you ain't this, you ain't that, unless you got 2-3 women or girlfriends. And if you got a girlfriend in 7th, 8th grade, he got a girlfriend. And your parents, everybody is celebrating. Oh yeah, everybody wants you to get girlfriend, that's crazy.
Look at it like this. Same type of culture of ignorance. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley.
Push
Thank you. Superfly. Gonna make you see, like it just goes, wait. I got hoes.
Yeah.
I got hoes in different
hoes. There you go.
Hold on. Watch this one. Is you a pimp, nigga? Yes, I'm a pimp, nigga. Let's split the game, nigga. Lobster and shrimp, nigga. Like this
now
whole
you found
thing is
one I didn't know.
Lobster and Shrimp, Timberland featuring Jay-Z.
Okay, I wasn't too much with Tim. He was part of his production though.
Right, but that's the thing. In the Ferrari, a Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down, screaming out, "Money ain't a thing."
There you go. I got that one. No, but
that is about as real,
yeah, man,
as a WWE promo. It's scripted and contrived in order to make you feel lesser about your situation.
But stop right there, because what you said is right. But here's the big elephant in the room. You say it's scripted and contrived by who? Who would do that? Why would they want? We all know, it's a something guiding the world to something. What do you think about
here's what I think, right? Black people are trained to be dancing monkeys. You are trained to run with a ball. You're trained to do stupid human tricks. You're trained to put a ball in the hoop, throw a ball in the end zone, knock a ball with a stick, kick a ball in the net, right? Sing a song, rap, dance, tap, fuck, twerk.
Entertain us, right.
All of that. But most of you do not own the means of productions. And there's plenty of people who are running around claiming to be owners, and all they are managers.
Yeah, I don't know why LeBron and them want to own an NBA team. They can get together, start their own damn NBA.
No, they can't.
Because they get sued. Why?
No, it's not about suing. No.
They wouldn't put them on the TV. They wouldn't put them on their networks.
Everything would get shut down. LeBron was going to lead a strike or a protest.
I heard about that.
In order to stop that protest, they weaponized the one weapon they had in their back pocket. Barack Hussein Obama gave a call to LeBron. All of a sudden, LeBron was like, "Nah, we just gonna wear the t-shirts."
I think this was during the pandemic or
Absolutely
something.
It was.
Yeah.
Absolutely it was. We have situations where actresses are complaining about the pay that they're not getting. And I tell people all the time, just like in entertainment or in any business, it doesn't matter how talented you are. This myth of, oh, I'm so talented. I know for a fact, Jay, you and I have never been in the same room physically. I know for a fact, people who can sing Beyonce under the table. We all do. Yet and still, they can't sell out a sardine can, let alone a stadium. So talent isn't the thing. We all know people who work really hard. Hard-working, salt of the earth, good, humble people, take care of their families, wonderful individuals. We all know these people.
Yeah, and that
Being a
ain't
good
that easy.
person ain't it. Being a hard-working person ain't it.
That's
It's
true.
a system. And if the system decides that they no longer want you, or you become a threat to the ecosystem of said system, you ain't gonna be around long, partner. So yeah,
Man.
no, LeBron ain't starting no league. Ice Cube started the Big Three, and look what they doing to Ice Cube right now.
Ooh, the NBA is dirty, man. It's kind of made me kind of look at the NBA in a different way. Kind of like, not that I still watch a lot of sports. These guys make too much money now at such a young age, and they didn't do nothing to earn it. I just don't. I just don't like sports the same as I used to. Not that I'm jealous or whatever. Hey, man, get the money. If that's what it generates, so be it. But they are like the best got the most. That's how I'm from. Like, don't get a participation trophy just because you happen to be in the NBA now. You get 200 million. What? Like, wait a minute. You need to be the best of the best still. And I don't know. It don't always work out that way. To each his own. I love business and capitalism. If my agent go get me that bag and all I do is whatever, I don't give a damn.
Right.
But it makes the viewing experience for me not as good. I'm thinking this dude 25 with all this for what? For nothing. He can't do nothing. Like what? So it's just changed for me with that. But you know, anyway, as far as what you were saying, what they got us with the entertainment aspect, that's why so many of our athletes have baby mamas, quote unquote, everywhere. Because, you know, that's what they've been taught to equate with success.
Well, that's what they've given them.
Yeah, now I got the big booty, you know, and hey, oops. You know, what you think about Zion Williamson, you know, and the things that he was going through. Are you familiar with that?
Mildly.
Okay, he's a up and coming NBA star, was the #1 draft pick a few years ago. He keeps getting injured. He was involved with some porn star. He's barely able to stay on the court.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And the porn star was
and let stuff out about him or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The one thing I love about boxing is not the fight itself. It's not even the girls that hold up the placards that say round 1 and so on and so forth. It is the instructions given at the beginning of the fight.
Protect yourself at all times, baby. You already know. You already know. It.
Sometimes, and I used to not understand this when I was a person of a different tax bracket, and I'm lucky that I don't have to deal with this, you know, maritally. But if I was a young man in any type of sport or any type of situation, it's better to just go ahead and have an arrangement with the lady of the evening, and because you're not paying for the sex, you're paying for them to leave without a headache and without mouth, right? Because now the new game is the gotcha game, because you can't all be on Basketball Wives, and you can't all be on the Bad Girls Club or Baddies or whatever the fuck Natalie Double Chin's Nun is calling it these days. So, you know what you can do though? And this is another thing we got to start teaching our daughters. Just because a man will sleep with you does not mean he puts you in the category of wife. John Cena got on, and this is no diss to John Cena. John Cena got on the Howard Stern show and said that he slept with a 285-pound woman one night. He said he had a great time with her, but he did it because a couple of guys in the locker room put him up to a bet. Said he wouldn't do it, and he did it. Just because you slept with John Cena doesn't mean that you're going to get Dave Bautista and Dwayne Johnson too.
Right.
And ain't none of them going to marry you.
Coming back again. Right. Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is, after he got his PNC, you couldn't see him.
Right.
And,
he was
and
out.
That's the problem. We start taking these experiences and inflating them or conflating them with your value in the marketplace. So now, because you were a 6, you think that you're a 10, and everybody you got to mess with. No. Just because a dude flew you out and smutted you out or slimed you out, as the kids say, doesn't necessarily mean that you're worthy of anything beyond the fact, or you know, a 6 and above. You're not. And the other part of that is we've got to start realizing that when you start to get, and I've had both men and women argue with me about this, but none of them can prove me wrong yet, but maybe you're the one. Name me the dentist convention that has groupies.
I'm sure they got some ladies of the night though.
Oh yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is,
they don't have groupies. You're right. They don't.
Engineers don't have groupies.
Groupies. That's how smart a groupie is. They probably should.
Right. Engineers, architects, they don't have groupies.
That's true. That's true.
You know who has groupies? The ones that give you the show, because the show is there to distract you. That's why rappers, even if you a has-been rapper, you can find a bad bitch, because they want a piece. They want fame by osmosis. That's why Basketball Wives is so big. That's why you have these bad girls clubs and these reality shows, because it's easier to be great at acting like a high schooler, throwing drinks and fighting people, than it is to actually double down on your craft and turn that craft into a marketable, viable talent.
Yeah.
So yeah. Work. That's why dating is so messed up now, because that's your guide. Your litmus test and your linchpin is something that somebody created whose last name ends with a Cohen or Rabinowitz or an Ackerman or something along those lines, who does not look like you or subscribe to your philosophy. And you know what they do? They take your black pain, turn it into white dollars, and make millions and leave you in a lurch. And then you want to know why? Because there's a whole crop of thoughts waiting to take your place next season.
Yeah.
And all I got to do is give them $300 and put them on a flyer, and they're happy as a pig in slop, because they don't know no better.
Yeah, that's true, man. Rap music, all that stuff, man. It's just movies.
Right. And why in the hell, while we're on the subject, why in the hell in 2024 would you be stupid enough to sign a record deal when all the distribution you need is right here?
I know. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing they can really do for you unless you want them to do the payola, because that's all they can really do is do the payola, and then what? Put you on their TVs and things. Because other than that, it's so many people that have proven that you can do so much with this phone, from whether it's SoundCloud, YouTube, any of these things. It's just so powerful now that the industry system is not needed as much as it is. You know, they can help you get some groupies though. I'm hoping I get a couple. We waiting to see how that work out. Anyway, I ain't married. Maybe one of them turn into a wife. Who knows? Anyway, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. Before we get up out of here, what do you think about I was gonna say Cosby, but I'm gonna show you this one thing right quick before we get to Cosby, because we talking about business. And I don't know if this is a good story, sad story. I don't know what this is. I would say this is bad, because I think she should have bought the place. But this woman just retired from McDonald's as a cashier, and she worked there since 1978. That's her year. When I was born, that's the year she started. She's 84, and she's retiring as the cashier. Now, she should be making $75 an hour at least, or she owns stock or own the damn thing. I mean, okay, I get it. Everybody don't have to own it or be this or that. But come on. 80, 75, 40, you worked there 45 years at McDonald's? She said, and I read the article, she's worked there through multiple sales of the building of this franchise. So different owners have bought the place. It would have crossed my mind, I should buy this place. What, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? What do you think, man, about this? Should she get a gold watch, a golden burger? What she got?
My whole thing, bro, is she made a choice. You know, Dot Sharp is who you're talking about. She's from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania.
Right. Or was it indecision of, I'm here and I don't want to try to do nothing else, so I'll just go to work every day because it's already here. I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to look for another job. I don't want to do this or that. What do you think? They say she was a manager at one time or this or that, but yeah, I don't know.
My whole thing is, if you choose, like, choosing to stay there is also a choice.
Exactly.
And if you choose to make that choice, you're happy with the consequences of that choice. If let's look at it this way. You've done television. You can still do television. There are plenty of people on set who are day players who are in non-speaking roles or are extras, right? Mm-hmm. They are background people. If they didn't exist, then the scene would look empty. Would you agree?
I agree.
Right.
100%. They're needed.
They're necessary. Some people are the extras for the rest of us who choose to shine our light. That is a choice. And I listen, if you are happy being the extra that you want to be, who am I to piss in your Happy Meal?
They the NPCs of the world.
Yes, they're non-playable characters, and that's fine. We need them. We need filler. We need movement. It looks weird. I have a homeboy that was in like Jack Reacher and like a bunch of other movies, you know, and like he was actually made a nice little living, still making a nice little. He was in the Dark Knight. He's in all these crazy ass action movies as an extra. Soldier number 3. Rioter number 17, whatever. Like
the check cleared.
The check cleared. If she spent her life, we don't know how many people she touched in that McDonald's. Like
that's what I'm also say. This go back to what you said earlier about success. What is success?
Success looks different for everybody.
That's right. Maybe her touch because it did say that in the article. You know, her regulars. They said there was a line around the building or something for her last day and stuff. So.
Yeah, but let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You know what disgusted me, though?
What's up?
Not what happened with Dot and Gibsonia, but what happened to that black man who spent 27 years working at Popeyes and they gave him an AMC Theaters movie card.
What?
You can Google this. I'm not making it. It was a black guy who worked at Popeyes, dropping chicken every damn day for 27 years. And, Jay, here's the kicker. He never missed a day of work. He never took off. Perfect attendance. And they gave him some trinkets.
I think it was only like $20 or something. $20.
Yeah, they gave him like an AMC gift card and a bunch of other knickknacks that, bruh.
Yeah,
so you gave up 3 decades of your life. 3 decades of your life for that. No, sir.
Yeah, see, he should have worked at the post office at least.
That's the thing, though, bro. Here's the thing, and this is one thing I want your listeners and your viewers to understand. Right? And I apologize if what I'm saying is too long for some of you, but stay with me on this. When I was doing entertainment as a talent and as a producer and as a writer, I literally had this conversation with my mother-in-law this morning. And what I said was, I had to deal with the fact that hindsight being what it is, and hindsight's always 20/20, I was the problem. And here's why I was the problem, Jay. Subconsciously, whether I was aware of it or not, the truth, if I'm being 100% honest, and I've never said this in a public forum, the problem was always me. And here's what my problem was. It's not that I was a bad person. It's not that I was a horrible worker. I wasn't. I realized that 2 things. Number 1, I don't like people telling me what to do. I didn't like my parents telling me what to do. And I love them.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to let somebody who I know for a fact I'm intellectually superior tell me what to do, and they can't figure out the simplest shit that I've already figured out 3 months ago? Yeah, that's a problem for me. Number 2, I really don't want to be anybody's doormat, making them money that I could be making myself. This right here is not a phone. This is an ATM. I call this the Freedom Box. This is what it really is. This, you don't even know this, bro. And as a Mason, I can tell you, this is a level. This is a playing field leveler, bro.
That's right.
Because
stand on the square.
When I was in,
everybody even with that. Come on, man. I can get into that too now.
All right.
We ain't gonna go into the, enlightenment stage too deep.
You already know. But the thing of it is, bro, when I tell you that when I was in radio, for example, and you were in Market 253, which is Tupelo, Mississippi, you was just in Tupelo, Mississippi, hoping you could get out of the bottom of the barrel. In 2005, a good friend of mine had an interview with an internet model, and then one person heard that interview on MySpace, and that one person moved that individual up to New York, and that individual went on to become Charlemagne the God. At certain points, that was impossible. Now it's an everyday occurrence. You don't have to be famous to be famous.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to be the best in order to get on. You don't have to wait for somebody to sign you. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you a look or hook you up or put you on. This is the hookup. This is the put oner. And so I had to understand that it wasn't that I was a bad employee. It's just that I was never supposed to be anybody's employee.
That's also part of the system to try to make people worker bees. Yeah, as you say, I got mine right here. It's running podcasts, all that stuff. You can do so much with this. So many people use it to look at pretty pictures, Instagram and Facebook. And I think, they're making money off of you. You're the product when you spend
Tell
all
people all the time. It's just free. You're the product. That's
right. That's right. So we getting ready to get up out of here. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. Man, shout out to Matthew Wilson. He said this was an eye-opening conversation for him. What would be something you'd like to tell somebody if they want to try to change their mental perspective so that they can, have better financial freedom? What's something that you would give them the advice if they watching this and they decide, okay, I want to do different from now on, but what's my first step? What do I do? What should I
examine everybody? See, people don't like cliches because they hear them all the time. It's not that they don't like cliches because they're false. Cliches are cliches for a reason. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. I know plenty of Italians, more Italians than I know who, and I know 2 Italians who are allergic to tomatoes. Everybody else loves gravy, or what we would call sauce. You understand what I'm saying to you? So you have to understand that certain things are true, and you are the sum total of the people you hang around with. So you need to start doing an audit of the people you're hanging around and ask yourself, what is this relationship doing for me? And most importantly, what is this relationship doing to me? If it is not nurturing you, if it is not bringing you contacts, if it's not bringing you peace, if it is not elevating your status in life, then you need to charge it to the game. And that's okay. So many people are afraid to start over from scratch. I'm not. I don't went from rags to riches to rags to riches.
Yeah.
So
I'm making a fresh start myself in the process now. So,
and that's the thing. So that's the first thing. The second thing is
beauty of life.
Use this to learn what you need to learn, right? And then stop buying into the excuse. It's not money you need. It's a plan. You need a plan. George W. Bush said, we don't have all this fancy stuff, but I do have a coalition of the willing. All you need is a coalition of the willing.
We're going to get those new goodies and we're going to smoke them out.
Smoke them out. We're going to use strategery. We're going to use some strategery. Right?
Fool me once, shame on you.
Shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Can't do it again. All right? Can't do it again.
That's the thing,
bad
bro.
Boy.
Like, I need you to realize that there is a world that is waiting for you to show up. I always tell the story of I did a speaking engagement at a college, and a young man is about 6'5", 245 pounds, stocky, like muscular kid, comes up to me and he says, "Mr. Anderson, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I was listening to your podcast while I was in this call center in my cubicle being miserable because I wanted to be a model. And you were talking about that most people will never have to experience what it is to wash up in a gas station sink. And then it dawned on me that I'm never going to have to experience that. In worst case scenario, I can always go home to my parents." He says, "So that day, as soon as that podcast was over with, I went to my boss and I quit." And I was like, "You quit?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't say anything about quitting." He said, "Wait." I said, "Okay." He said, "So I quit. Then I went home. And I put together my portfolio, which I've been working on forever. I put together my portfolio, and the next day I bought a train ticket to New York, and I came back with not 1 but 2 modeling contracts." He said, "If it wasn't for you I'd have never pursued my dream of modeling, and I'd probably still be in that cubicle. I never met this kid. I didn't see this kid. I didn't talk to this kid directly. But the truth of the matter is, had I not started the thing that led to me doing the Business Bully podcast, he would not have had the reassurance that he wasn't crazy, because everybody around him was telling him, yeah, models coming out of here. What you mean? Yeah, you tall and you look good, but there's a bunch of them, and they got agents and da-da-da-da-da. He saw that it was possible, and my situation was so much worse than what his was, and somehow I got out of that, or pulled myself up by the bootstraps, whatever that means to you. And he said it changed his life. And I tell you, it was one of the first times in my life that I wasn't at a funeral and I cried silent tears, because I couldn't have words. I shook his hand, I hugged him, I thanked him. Because a lot of times when you're creating or you're doing things that are revolutionary or just different,
if it's working, if it has that effect,
and everybody around you is telling you you're crazy.
Yes.
Eddie Griffin famously said Alexander Graham Bell must have been on coke, because he was doing it by the gram, because he was talking about, I want to talk to people who ain't even here. Right.
But
if you go back, that's crazy. Telling people, you know what, you're not going to need an oil lamp. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a bulb, and that's going to light everything up. The first light bulb, first light bulb worked too good.
Yeah, I know. They didn't go out. They had to start to make them not as good. Just
planned obsolescence. And so what I'm saying is, you are good enough right now. You're just not in the right environment. You're not around the right people. You don't have the right team, and you don't have the right coach. If you want a coach, I'm not saying it has to be me, but the link is right there, thebusinessbully.com/without paid ads. It's worth a conversation. Yes, it's an investment, because I don't work for free, and this is not the United Way. But at the end of the day, you already saw what it is to work 40 hours a week, which is actually 80 hours a week, because you don't forget about the commute, the amount of time you're spending putting your clothes on, the amount of time you're doing getting your lunch, all this other stuff you've got to do in order to go work for what they have told you is a paycheck, when in actuality, for most of us who resonate with this message, it's not a paycheck, it's a bi-weekly insult. It is gilded chains. If you don't want that anymore, go ahead and click that, or go check out my Instagram, at The Business Bully. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can do. And if I can't help you, I probably know somebody who can. But if you're feeling like this ain't enough, then do something about it. I tell people all the time, and people get mad at me, but I don't give a rat's ass. You're not happy with your situation? Then you need to be a MAM. M-A-M. Make a move.
Right.
Say yes, ma'am. Yes, make a move. Right now. That's it.
Right. It's always up to you. A lot of people, I tell people all the time, your biggest hater is yourself.
Always.
Yourself out of all this. I can't do this. The time ain't right. I gotta wait for this. Da 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 da. You messing up. You got to make that move when the time is right. I just made a major move in the span of a week, like an ancient samurai. I make a move within the span of 7 breaths.
Mm-hmm.
But hey man, it's never the right time for anything in life, to be honest. You waiting on the right time to buy this or go here or do that, you never know. Just do it, make that move, and guess what, when you look back at it, it was the right time.
Truly.
Yeah. So
truly.
Hey man, I really appreciate you coming through. We definitely got to do this again more often. And I'm gonna have to link up with you as well, because starting next month and a couple things, I'm gonna try to really expand and do some things. So definitely share that knowledge, and that's another thing I'll touch on real quick briefly is people watching, don't be afraid to have a mentor or ask somebody. And even if you gotta pay or support, you're taking a person's time, their energy, their knowledge. And that's the thing, a lot of our people would expect us to download or take all this information and time and give it to people for free all the time. And that's not always being realistic.
No.
So
to me, it's not even about the time, Jay. It's about the systems, right? I remember when my daughter was having problems when she was at Howard University, and we had to get her out of the dorm and get her into an apartment, right? And we're sitting there and they're doing the paperwork and going through all the stuff, and my wife and I had done, like, we just sitting there doing the math, and it was like, yo, you realize you spent like $375,000 getting to this point?
Woo! Woo!
Like, and when you look at it like that, it sounds crazy, but when you juxtapose that over the next, 10, 15, 25, 30 years of my life, and what that's going to mean for the next 100 years of my legacy, money well spent.
That's right.
But
That's
no,
right.
I don't have a sprawling mansion. But you know what I do have? I have sprawling assets. I have intellectual property that I can control. I have found ways to digitize and clone myself and do things that most people don't even have a clue they can do. Because I bet on me. The biggest investment you can ever make is the investment in yourself. And when I say that, that's not just monetarily. That's investing in your rest. That's investing in the people that you love. That's investing in self-care. That's investing in reading the right things, eating the right things, walking, indulging in some of the bad shit, having a Cheeto every once in a while, right?
Just not the whole bag, Yeah. Every once in a while, maybe, but not every.
Just not the whole bag. Maybe like 75% of the. I can't eat the whole bag. I try, but I can't. But no, I want us to understand that you should have a level of balance, and you should also question everything, including what you believe today.
That's true.
Because the version of me who sits here right now is completely different than the version of me who sat here the last time we were here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the goal in life, to be progressing and improving. So.
Yeah, no, I think we lose sight. We lose sight of how important it is to question what we believe. Shakespeare famously said, "Second thoughts make liars of us all." Right? Information changes everything.
True.
There used to be a time when humanity and some of the most brilliant people in humanity believed that the sun was Apollo flying a chariot across the sky. Say that today.
Right, and that was fact at that time.
Yeah.
Goes with I said earlier about the belief in science and the change in it.
Mm-hmm. So
with that being said, we're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you for coming through.
Yes, sir.
And, we definitely gonna have to do this again, everybody. I appreciate y'all for watching. We got to get more people to come and watch when we were talking about business and knowledge. If I was talking about power or shooting some people on an imaginary show, it'd be 1,000 people. But to enhance you real life and make some money and improve yourself, man, that's
bro. Fun. I apologize, but unfortunately for you, I'm vegetables. Nobody wants to eat their vegetables.
Hey, for real. They want that steak red, raw. Gotta have your meat and potatoes, y'all. You can't have it all one way. Gotta mix it in. So everybody came through, stuck through the whole thing. I appreciate it. Definitely check this man out. Check out the link right there, as well as check him out on Instagram. We definitely got a lot going on. Some knowledge being dropped on the regular. I appreciate everybody watching on the replay. Mm-hmm. Y'all take care. Peace. There we go. And y'all have a good one. We out of here.
Y'all.
Yeah.